Yeah, I'm in my single season right now. Ain't nothing wrong with saying that out my mouth. Hey Glam Dolls! Welcome back to my channel. It's Taylor here. If you're new, welcome. Please go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and if you're a returning subscriber, welcome back. So for today's video, as you guys can tell by the title, today is going to be an add-on to last week's video talking about singleness. Today's video, we are going to be discussing, are you content in your single season? Today, I really want to get down to the bottom of being content in your single season. So for those who feel like they're struggling, they need some help, they need some guidance, they don't understand why God has them being single, or whatever the case may be, I'm going to be speaking from my personal experience with learning to be content in my single season, and I hope this video helps you today. So if you guys are interested in this topic today and you want to hear a little bit more about it, please keep on watching. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, and let's go ahead and get right into it. Okay, so today I really wanted to dive deeper into this topic because I feel like it's a huge issue for women to be content in their single season. And when I first realized that God was calling me to be single, I had a huge issue with understanding the importance of being single and how it really was going to benefit my life and benefit me. So today I want to kind of talk and dive a little bit deeper and discuss it because I need my women to understand that being single is not a punishment, and it's like when God is calling you to that, or you feel like you need to embark on that, it's for a reason. It's for your growth, it's for your betterment. And it's like we gotta stop downplaying the idea of being single like it's a bad thing, because it's not. And I need everyone to understand. So the first thing when it comes to being single, you want to ask yourself, are you walking in purpose? What is your purpose? I feel like in your single season, that is the most time where God reveals to you your purpose and what you've been called to do. If you are somebody who is single and you are wanting and itching so bad to be in a relationship, ask yourself, do you know what your purpose is and what you've been called on this earth to do? I feel like oftentimes we get so caught up in a significant other that we don't realize our calling or what God has called for ourselves or called in our lives. Like how I said in my past videos when it pertained to me being in relationships and stuff, I always focused on that other person and I always wanted to be up under that other person. And it's like my purpose in my head was to fulfill them. My purpose in my head was to be a good girlfriend, support them, like help them live their dreams. Like, you get what I'm saying, be up under them. No, God has called you to a specific thing. And it's important for you to unwrap and unveil what that thing is. And it's like when you are so caught up in somebody else, it's hard for you to grasp what it is that God has called you to do. And I feel like for me, that was like one of the main things when it came to me understanding why I'm single. It's for me to figure out my purpose and start walking in it. Because one thing you need to understand is that when you get with somebody, it's for purpose. But even besides that, at the end of the day, significant others, being with other people, you know, finding a husband, all that is sweet, great, and dandy. But when it comes down to it, and when it comes time for you to meet God, God is going to ask you, did you fulfill what He's called you to do? We want to hear, well done, my good and faithful servant. Like, did you fulfill the promises and the blessings and the different tasks that He's placed in front of you to do? Like, did you fulfill the calling that He's placed on your life? So you want to make sure that you are walking in purpose. Ask yourself, do I know what my purpose is? Do I know what God has called me to do? And if you don't know, use this single time to figure that out. 9 times out of 10, that's usually why God places a lot of us in our single season, because He wants us to grasp a hold of our purpose. And I always struggled with figuring out what that was for me and actually walking in it. But with me being single, nobody to talk to, nobody to focus on, I was forced to focus on myself. I was forced to figure that out for myself. And it's like I wanted to be more into myself because I was so hurt by what has happened from the people in the past hurting me that it just came to a point where it's like, I gotta put this energy into something else. And it's like God just gave me the opportunity to put the energy into myself. And that's where I really started figuring out things about myself, what it is that I like, what it is that I want to leave on this earth. Like, when I leave this world, what is it that I want to leave behind? I want to set up blessings and things for people to come after me. Like, I want to set up things for the people in my life, like generational wealth, different things like that. So you want to ask yourself, like, am I walking in purpose? Like, I'm so stuck on finding a significant other. Am I really doing what God has even called me to do? Ask yourself that. Another thing that is super important with walking in your singleness, it's important to understand that there is absolutely nothing wrong with you. Sometimes when you've been called to singleness, God, he'll place a veil over you, or he'll like hide you from the world so that you're kind of seen as hidden. Like no one's really noticing you or whatever the case may be. That's why you may feel like nobody's coming in your DMs, nobody's reaching out to you, nobody's trying to talk to you, because God has placed you into a covering to keep you off the radar for a little bit, to kind of show you whatever it is that he's trying to do in you in that time. He needs to kind of keep you hidden so that he can do his work in you. So if you feel like oftentimes like, dang, why nobody be in my DMs or trying to talk to me or whatever the case may be, it's because God has you hidden. Nobody be trying to talk to me, nothing, because I feel like God has me hidden. And it's like, I'm perfectly okay with that because I know who I am. I know what I bring to the table. I know what it is and what it ain't, okay? So it ain't nothing wrong with me. I just know God has me hidden for whoever it is I'm supposed to be with. That's super important, and it's important for you to know like there's absolutely nothing wrong with you. Like you are beautiful, you are fearfully and wonderfully made. God calls you the head and not the tail. You are above and not below. Understand that you are like his heir, like you are a queen. So there is nothing wrong with you. Like you are his like wonderful and marvelous creation. Like he created you for a time such as this, but maybe he's hiding you for a specific reason and for a specific time until you get yourself together, or until he sees you reach a certain limit, or it's something that he's trying to teach you in your singleness. So you need to be focused on yourself, getting yourself together in this time, and understanding that God is hiding you for a purpose. He's hiding you for a reason. But when it's time for him to take that veil off, you shall be presented like the shiniest gold in the world. I don't know what. And I know that's what's going to happen for me, but I'm not pressed for that. Like, Lord, keep me hidden for as long as you need, like, as long as you need to. And, you know, be confident in that. Be confident in saying that. Like, embrace, like, what you're in. Like, God has me hidden for a season. Like, God is trying to show something to me in this season. He's trying to do something to me in this season. So don't allow yourself to feel insecure. Don't allow yourself to let your confidence go down. Don't allow yourself to feel like you're ugly. Like, oh, nobody's talking to me. Nobody's trying to come for me. It's because God has you hidden for a purpose. So if you are like a boss chick, or even if you're shy, whatever the case may be, but you know what you bring to the table, understand that God might just have you hidden. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Maybe he's wanting you to get more serious about your single season and embracing it, like really tapping into what you're supposed to be doing. Tap into that. Also, when we are single, it'll help us figure out what we will and what we will not tolerate. I feel like when you are in a relationship or you are feeling so bad to have a significant other, you will put up with anything. Like, there's a lot of things that you be putting up with, or we be putting up with, that we shouldn't really tolerate, but it's because we be wanting to be in a relationship so bad, or we want a significant other so bad, or we want this person to be good so bad. When you learn more about yourself and you get more in tune with yourself, you will not accept those things any longer. Like, you will know exactly what you deserve. Like, you will start accepting less and you will start requiring more. Because in this time too, what I've learned is when I chimed into my singleness, I started watching more godly relationship videos and different things, like godly marriages, to truly understand what does a godly marriage or godly relationship look like, what are the things or the qualities that I am supposed to be seeking, and how is it that I should really be treated. Because when you are dating someone who is solely working for God, it's like a different type of like aura to a person who is solely seeking God in everything they do, whether that be relationships, their businesses, like their family, like whatever the case may be. If they are seeking God, they're doing it the best that they can, and there's nothing but love and greatness within it. Because anything that you put first, anything that you put before God, it shall succeed. And so like when you find a significant other who places God first, it's going to succeed. Like, that doesn't mean it's going to be like completely peachy keen, but it's like God is in the mix, so he's going to be constantly directing that relationship. He's going to be helping that person understand how to treat you, how to be towards you. You get what I'm saying? He talks about that in the Bible a lot, about how to treat other people, especially your significant others, like how to love one another, how to cater to one another, how to treat one another. He talks about that. So I feel like in this time, like, you will learn what you should and what you shouldn't tolerate. So really maximize on this time to really figure out, okay, what is it that I want in a significant other? How is it that I want to be treated? What does God say about someone treating me? It also makes you check yourself, like, well, dang, what is it that I've been doing in the past that hasn't been good when it comes to relationships? Like, was I always patient? Was I always kind? Was I always loving? Did I always forgive? There's different things that you should be asking yourself, and it's like, most importantly, God will help you to realize how valuable you are. He will help you realize in this time how valuable you are. So really tap into like, God, who is it that you called me to be? Like, who am I? How do you see me in your image? Like, who am I and who are you? Because when you learn who Jesus is, you start to learn more about yourself, because we are a reflection of who he's called us to be. When you realize how highly God thinks of you, you will start thinking highly of yourself, and you will start understanding what you truly deserve and the things you should not tolerate. And you will start to say, no, I will not put up with this. I will not put up with that. I will not be nobody like that, because God has called me to so much better. And then you will also start to see there are godly, good men out there who do exist. You just gotta be patient for yours, because that's what I'm doing. I'm being patient for mine. But there's people, good people out there who exist. You are godly, you consider yourself godly. There might be men out there who think like there's no good godly women out there who exist, but look at you, look at how you looking. So just think, like, if you're thinking that way about them, just think how they think about you. Like, godly women are extinct, and they're really not. Also too, with being content in our singleness, we need to understand, what does it really take to be married? Like, a lot of people be wanting to be married so bad, be in a relationship so bad, like take it to the next level so bad, but do you know what that requires of you? First of all, being married or being in a relationship, God is calling you to walk in a purpose. He's calling you to walk in some type of greater purpose with that significant other that you have. So you guys are called to walk together. That's why it's important for you guys to figure out purpose on your own, so when you guys come together, you're able to fulfill whatever purpose or blessing that God has called you to do. And I'm learning that too. It's like, you want to make sure you're whole before you get with somebody else. Like, how can you say, I want to be a wife, I want to do this, I want to do that, and you're not even wife material on your own? Like, I feel like you need to understand how to truly be married by yourself. Like, be married to yourself before you can want to do that with somebody else. Like, God calls us and says that we are married to him. First and foremost, we're married to him. And so you want to really take into account, like, am I being a good wife to God? Ask yourself that. Like, am I a good wife to God? Like, is me and God's marriage exceptional? Like, am I a good wife to God? And I strive every day to be the best that I can be, and I fall short, but it's like, you want to use your relationship with God as like a starting point before you consider being in a relationship with somebody else. You want to make sure that foundation is good first, because that's something you're going to always need in a relationship. That's something that's always important. Like, your foundation with yourself and God is always important, because if you guys have issues, you can go back to God, you can talk to God. That's going to be your foundation together. Like, you guys are going to be both standing on God. So if one has a foundation of God and the other doesn't, that's an issue, that's a problem. When you both have the foundation of God, your foundation is solid. So you want to make sure you are good first. And I want to make sure that I take my marriage very seriously. So that's why in this time, I'm using this time, I'm like juicing this time, like getting everything that I can get out of it to really focus on myself and zone in on myself, because it's important for you to understand, you need to know who you are. You have to be that strong wife. Like, you gotta be that boss. Like, I don't want people to get it twisted when I say boss. Like, you don't have to be someone who is straight out there and, like, you know what I'm saying, if you are shy but you're still in your ish, like, you are still a boss. Like, when I say boss, I mean a woman who is confident in herself, who has her faith in God so strong-willed, like, she stands firm in God and what he's called her to do. Like, she is his servant. Like, she follows God. Like, the Proverbs 31 woman, that's a boss. That's what I mean when I say a boss. And I want to make sure that I'm portraying every single thing that woman does. I want to make sure that I portray that without trying too hard. I want to make sure it comes naturally, but I just want to make sure I'm able to check off the list with that is who I am. Like, when I see who it is that I desire to be, it is the Proverbs 31 woman. I know it's so cliche, but that's who I embody. Like, when I see myself, I be like, that is who I am. The Proverbs 31 woman, that is me. She is I and I am her. You get what I'm saying? You want to make sure that you're embodying that type of person who's just a boss, just confident in herself, confident in God, caring for her kids, being there, you know what I'm saying, walking in purpose, making a change, making a difference in the world. That's who you want to be. Also too, it's important to know that you are popping even without a significant other. Understanding that with or without another person, you are good. You have to be content and so solid in yourself and so believing in yourself that you know that you don't need anybody else but God. Like, how much we rely on relationships, that's how much we should be relying on God. Like, that's how much we should be leaning on God. Because I feel like the significant other comes when you're the least amount focused on that type of thing. When you're the least amount focused on being with somebody else, that's when that person comes. And that's when it's everything that you ever could have possibly dreamed of and desired for it to be. But it's like, in this time, you need to be getting so confident in yourself, learning yourself front and back, figuring out exactly who you are, so that when you meet somebody, you understand understand exactly what you like, what you want, what you don't want, who you are, what you will tolerate. Like when I say that, that's like an important thing. I know I just talked about it, but that's like a super important thing for you to know yourself. You want to make sure you know yourself more than ever. Like in this time, use the singleness to really figure out you, really figure out yourself, know who you are, and know who God has called you to be. The last thing I want to tell you is to, in your single season, just solely soak your trust in God. Like know that He's called you to this for a season and not for a century. Like you are called to this season for only a short period of time, and you want to cherish that time that you have being single, because when you are single, understand, like once your singleness is done, you're gonna have your whole life to be dedicated to somebody else. Like this is your only time to really keep as your me time. Like when you get with somebody else, or you start walking in purpose, walking with your significant other, you're never gonna get this single time to be by yourself again. That's also too while I soak in it and I bathe in it, because like I'm only gonna be single for a certain season, and that's how I look at it. Like being single is not going to last forever. Like God is going to bring me who He desires for me to be with, and even if He doesn't, I will still cherish this time that He's given me, because I'm content in walking in purpose and being focused on God. And God, if into you do want to bring me somebody who you called me to be with, to walk in purpose with, I am more than happy to receive that. But even without it, I'm still good. You want to have that type of position in your heart. When you become so confident in your single season, that's where a person just shows up and you're like, oh, I don't even need you, but okay. Not like, ooh, a man, finally, God sent me a man, oh my gosh. Like, no. Be confident in yourself. Be content in your single season. Be confident in your single season, and know that like when that time comes, cool, but right now I'm gonna soak in this me time. It's like the ultimate me time for yourself. God is really using this single season as like your blessing. You have this time to do whatever you want to do. You don't have to answer to nobody. You don't gotta help nobody. You don't gotta constantly be there for nobody. You can feed yourself. You don't gotta worry about nobody else. Like you don't gotta answer to nobody. Like, oh, where you at? What you doing? You can get up and go as you will. Get up and go as you please. Like you don't have to be in unison with somebody else. You can do what you want to do. And I think that's the beauty of being single. It's just embracing your me time. So even if this me time has been a little longer than what you expected, sis, embrace it. Bro, embrace it. Because I know dudes watch my videos too, but embrace it. Be happy in that time and cherish it as a blessing. Look at it as a blessing, because there are so many married people who wish that they could have just one moment to themselves, who wish they can go back to their single season for just one moment. The marriage people ain't all happy. It's not all peachy keen like it's caked up to be. I know it's not, because I've watched so many videos on it. I know it's not always caked up to what it's seen to be. And you should research a little bit more into godly couples who are on YouTube, who are transparent and who are open about their relationship, who are open with the trials and tribulations that they do face with being married. And you will see like, dang, let me cherish the single season a little bit more, because when I get married, I know everything's gonna shift. I know everything's gonna change. So embrace what God has called you to right now. Don't rush the season that you're in. Be content where you're at, and know that in due time He will send you your significant other. But in this time, this is your time to be more about yourself than you ever have before. This is your time to be focused on you. This is your time to be serious about you. This is your time to not play about you. Get so serious about you that you will not play when it comes to finding somebody else, because you know what you deserve. You know your worth. You know what God has called you to be. You cherished your single season. Like you cherished all that time, and now you're ready to give it to somebody else. Like, embrace it. Being single is not a punishment. Being single is not an issue. Being single is not a problem. Being single is your self-development season. Being single is your time to grow. Being single is your time to zone in on you. Get excited about you. Being single is the time to date you. Do what you can for yourself that nobody has ever done for you before. Don't use this time to be sad. Don't use this time to be soppy and upset. Use this time to be happy. Be excited. Feel blessed. Get joyful about your single season. Get joyful about who God has called you to be. Get joyful about figuring out your purpose. Get joyful about figuring out what God has caused you to do in this time. It is not a punishment. It is only for a season. It is not for a century. And it shall come to an end. It will come to an end. But in this time, embrace it. Embrace every single moment of it, because it is truly a blessing. So I want people to become more confident in that. Be content in your single season. Don't sit around and grope and moan. Like God has called you for a purpose to this. Like it's a reason. And it's like when you come out on top of it, you're like, dang, like number one, I enjoyed my single season. I'm happy God God took me through that. And number 3, I've learned so much about me. I'm speaking from experience, and I'm still in my single season, but God has taught me so much in this time. And I really want us women to get more confident in it. Even men too, get more confident in it. Know that it's only for a season, and God has called you to something greater, and your greater shall come in due time. Like your other blessing, as far as significant other, shall come in due time, but He's called you to greater right now. It's something He needs you to do that calls you to focus on Him and you. It's something He's trying to get you to see that you're not realizing, you're not understanding it when you're with somebody else. He's trying to help you to understand why you're just by yourself. So zone into that, understand that, and that's it. Okay, so that's all for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed this little snippet of how to better be content in your single season and grasp what's so good about it, because it's really a blessing. It's really a great thing, and I just want us to take hold of that and be excited to say that, like, I'm single, and yeah, I'm in my single season right now. Ain't nothing wrong with saying that out my mouth, baby. I'm confident in saying that. I don't got to deal with nobody doing me wrong, nobody hurt my feelings, nobody cheating on me, nobody lying to me, nobody trying me. Since I'm in my single season, this is my me time, my time to focus on me. What about you? So that's how I feel about the single season. I am so confident and pumped about it, because I know it just prones us women to just be the best that we can be. It really does. It really does a lot of pruning and working and growing in you, and it's like you might not see it at the time, but when you come out on the other end, you will see how much work God has done to you and through you within this time, and it's truly a blessing. So I really want to just open some women's eyes in this aspect. Just be confident in your single season and embrace it, because it's something amazing. And it's like your Prince Charming shall come. Don't worry, it's coming. But be excited about this season that you're in. But that too shall come in due time. So if you guys enjoyed today's video, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up. And if you're new to my channel and you stayed all the way to the end, please do not forget to subscribe. I would love for you to stay and become a glam doll today. I thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll be sure to see you guys all in my next video. Bye!